Hey everyone, it's Lwandile here, the leader and the instructor of Manikwe School. And today we're going to be doing exercise 3.2 from student biz perspective. Basically, the way I see this problem here, it seems like we only going to have one solution. Why? It's pretty straightforward, as you can see. Besides, they actually want us to refer to some listing 3.1, which is some code that is already there for us. So let's try to read through the question. Okay, it's a game question. You gotta add 3 numbers. So the program in listing 3.1 edition quiz.java generates 2 integers and prompts the user to enter the sum of these 2 integers. Okay, so now we gotta revise the program to generate 3 single-digit integers and prompt the user to enter the sum of these 3 integers. Okay, again, as I'm telling you guys, it's pretty straightforward. We're gonna refer to the code, this listing 3.1 they telling us about later. For now, why not just jump onto coding? That way it's not like we'll be copying anything. Okay, so basically let's do this. We want 3 numbers. Let's call the first one first number. Recall, you folks, we were told that it has to be a single digit number, so that basically says it will be a number between 0 and 9, including 9, right? Okay, so we basically want a random number from 0 to 9. That's not how you spell random. Okay, int number 2, this is our second digit. Again, it has to be a random number between 0 and 10. And lastly, we've got number 3. Again, it's a single digit number, so it has to be a number between 1 and 10. Again, another thing I might want to do, which I won't do, is to make your data types byte, right? In fact, that's the best thing to do, making your data types bytes. Why? A single digit number would fit in a byte data type. Okay, so what else? Once we have these 3 integers, what we might want to do, okay, of course, is to create a scanner in order do get users answer. All right, okay, scanner, let's call it input this time around, and I'll make, and if you notice, I've already imported my scanner class, so we won't be having any errors. Close. Okay, I also like putting the comments here. Close my scanner. Okay, what else? Of course, we got a prompts the user to enter sum. Okay, but before we do that, we can do something like this. Int sum is equals to num1 plus num2. I forgot a 1 here. There we go. Number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3. That should do it. Okay. So you want to prompt the user to enter a sum. Okay. System.out.print what is number 1 plus, I hope everyone knows the difference between the plus operator and the plus for concatenation purpose. Okay, so what is number 1 plus number 2? Wait, what is number 1 plus, I should have put num 2. Let me go to the next line so that you guys can properly see. What is number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3? Number 3. Okay. What is that? And then we gotta put a question mark. What's going on? Undo. Okay. Question mark. Of course, our user will give us an answer, and we gotta store that to some variable, and user answer will simply be input.next int. I'm used to working with integers, folks, so that's why I'm using them as opposed to byte. But make sure it's not a must though. You can go away with an int data type, but it's a good practice for the sake of other languages. So in case maybe you wanna go learn C++ or any other language, so understanding when to use which data type is crucial. Okay, now that we've got this, what you want to do is, what was the question first? Let's get back to our question. Oh, basically they referring us to this listing 3.1. You know what, let's just go to 3.1, listing 3.1. That way we might better understand what is required of us to display. Where are you? 3.1? No, there was 3.2. This should be it right here. What I'm more concerned about is how they prompt there. So they just went, what is number 1 plus number 2? And then they said number 1 plus number 2 is equals to answer. Okay, number 1 plus number 2 is equals to answer is, this right here, you folks, in case you don't understand this part, this will either give us a true or a false, because these two numbers, number 1 and number 2, are actually what was given by what was generated by our code, our random number. Our random numbers that was generated by our code, and then we will check if the sum of those two is equals to the correct answer, right? And if that is the case, then we can go as far as to say they are equal. Otherwise, we'll go, no, they are not equal. Okay. Or another thing In this case, they decided to use this function system.current millis and then mode 10. This what simply does is they are actually using the fact that this function, this one over here, the one I've highlighted, it gives you the current time in milliseconds. From which year? From 1970, if I'm not mistaken, January 1. So like, I mean, after some few, this thing increments itself. It increments itself using milliseconds. So you can imagine 1 second is made up of 1,000 milliseconds. So we can use this because it changes repeatedly in order to find our random number. But you know what? I don't want to talk much about this. What I want to talk about is this exercise here. What you're required to do. So basically, now that we've collected user input, what we will then say is simply, let's get back to the question in hand. It's on page 132 if I'm not mistaken, or one page before that. Okay, so revise the program to generate 3 integers and prompt the user to enter the sum of these 3 integers. Okay. What I'll then say, if user answer is equals to sum, then we'll go system.out.print, or you can of course display this however you like, but I'm gonna simply display it this way: number 1 plus number 2 plus number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3 plus, let me go to the next line though so that everyone can properly see. Okay, plus 1 number 2 plus number 3 and I will concatenate that with the equal sign is equals to sum. Then I'll simply go, you correct. You are correct. I can simply go, so you are correct. Otherwise, else can copy this and paste it right over here. However, here also, oops, you are incorrect. Okay, there's something I want to point out about this program though. Why? Because you guys know it's not about me giving you solutions, it's about me giving you different ways of doing things, including doing things the wrong way, right? So there are some things that I want to point out on this program. Even though it works, let's try it before I point out those things. Let's try it. Okay, what is 3 plus 0 plus 6? Let's just go 9, which is a correct answer. 3 plus 0 plus 6 is 9, so you are correct. Let's try to put something incorrect. Let's just go 10 instead of 13. Oops, you are incorrect. You see, this solution works. However, there are certain things I want to do about it. In fact, let me just do them and not comment them. Let me just go by it. First mistake. Check this out, you folks. You see, you can, this is actually taking me to another point. You can typecast a data type to another data type. Basically, as we have here, you see, I'm basically typecasting this entire thing to a byte. However, I'm assigning the result of that to an int variable. Why? Why it works, it's simply because a byte is actually I would say a child of an int. Why? Because an int is a 32-bit number, whereas on the other hand, a byte is a 8-bit number. So no wonder it works. It cannot work the other way though. You cannot have an int here and a byte over here. That will give you a compile error. You can check that out on your own if you want to. Again, another thing we can do, we can make this a byte, because you know, even if the sum of the three numbers is 9 plus 9 plus 9, that is definitely gonna give you a byte. However, the compiler doesn't know that, so no wonder we have this. We've gotta compile, we've gotta typecast that. Why? The compiler assumes that there might be a possibility that you get some number which would exceed the maximum number allowed for bytes. So that's why we had that error. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? You see, this variable over here, this user answer, this sum, not user answer, the variable sum, we could have take it out, right? We could have done this. However, if you decide to do that, then you're definitely gonna have errors here. You might let's just do it. Let's just do that. What you would have, is a duplication of code. However, you will be saving your memory. Why? Because you won't be using any. You would not be using any variables. It's a matter of making a choice. It's not like there's a right or wrong answer to this. It depends on how you're looking at it, because right now we still have a working solution. However, we don't have check this out, folks. We don't have, this is 6. We don't have a variable holding sum 9, 18, 21. Right? Okay, let's try something else so that you guys see. Let's just put 2. You see it still works. Okay, another thing, what I did is, you see, the first thing to do will be to simply go on this solution. The first thing to do will be to simply do this and then put that. Of course, I don't want you there. Okay, what else do I want? Okay, perhaps I can put a space. Once I do this, then I cut everything and remain with only that. Okay, I'll put that over there. Again, I can simply do this. You see, what I did now is I extracted the part that was duplicated on both of my conditions. I know people might find this time consuming, but I cannot stress enough the importance of knowing what you can possibly do in order to improve your code. Let's start over for the last time so that you guys see that we have a working solution. This is 16. Okay, now let's put something totally incorrect. You see, it still works as we expected. I mean, that should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Hope I'll see you on the next. You'll see me on the next exercise. In fact, you definitely are gonna see me on the next exercise, which will be exercise 3.3, by the way. That should be it for this tutorial, you guys. In case there's something you wanna point out, or maybe a mistake or an error that I made, you wanna talk about that, please feel free to do so. Oh, I almost forgot. This is where I took my textbook from, the one I'm using on this textbook. However, there are tons of places, or rather websites, where you can download your own copy. This is the website I downloaded my own PDF from. So please, you guys, I'm begging you to please have your own copy. You don't necessarily have to go to this website. Get it from anywhere, right? As long as you're gonna attempt these exercises, try not to keep watching only. That should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Cheers, I'm gone.